As we grow older, many people believe that losing energy, clarity, and sharpness is simply a part of aging, something unavoidable that happens no matter how well we live. But the truth is far more empowering, because the brain is not fixed, fragile, or destined to decline. It is alive, adaptable, and constantly responding to the choices we make every single day. That means the small habits you practice, how you sleep, what you eat, the way you move, the moments of joy you allow yourself, the connections you nurture, and the way you speak to your own mind are shaping your future in ways you may not even realize. Today, we are going to explore how simple, everyday actions can strengthen your brain, protect your memory, and help you stay sharp, strong, and vibrant at any age, proving that it's never too late to create a healthier, clearer, more energized life starting right now. When you hear that a simple, everyday food like berries can contribute to showing up to a 27% reduction in dementia risk, it can feel almost unbelievable at first. But when you look closely at what's happening inside your body every time you eat them, the science becomes not only understandable, but incredibly empowering. Berries are not just sweet, colorful fruits. They are concentrated packages of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and inflammation-fighting compounds that travel through your bloodstream and begin supporting your brain in ways you can actually feel over time. The idea that something so accessible can be so protective reminds us that our health is often built not through dramatic changes, but through small, repeated acts that accumulate quietly and powerfully. When you eat berries daily, you are essentially feeding your brain a defense system that it cannot build on its own. Those deep blues, reds, and purples come from anthocyanins, compounds known to cross the blood-brain barrier and support areas like the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. With every serving, these anthocyanins work to neutralize harmful free radicals that cause cell damage, reduce inflammation that slowly erodes brain function, and help maintain blood flow to the brain so neurons stay nourished and active. This is what makes the idea of reducing dementia risk possible. Not through magic, but through biology. Every day, whether you realize it or not, your brain is under stress, oxidative stress, caused by things like toxins, poor diet, pollution, and normal aging processes, begins to break down cells over time. Inflammation, especially chronic low-level inflammation, becomes a silent destroyer that interferes with neuron communication and gradually impairs memory and cognition. This is where berries show their true power. Their antioxidants act like tiny shields, protecting your brain from oxidative stress. Their anti-inflammatory properties calm the internal fires that accelerate mental decline. And the beautiful thing is that you don't need extreme amounts to witness benefits. Even a cup a day, fresh or frozen, begins a long-term protective process. It's the consistency that matters, the daily reinforcement that helps your brain stay strong, resilient, and capable. Think of it as investing in a retirement account for your mind. Every handful of berries is a deposit into that account, building reserves of strength that you will draw from years and decades later. One of the most fascinating things researchers have discovered is that berries don't just slow decline. They can actually enhance existing brain function. Studies show improvements in memory, attention, and processing speed, meaning you may feel more mentally awake, more focused, and more capable in your everyday life. Your brain isn't just being protected, it's being energized, it's being supported, it's being nourished in a way it deeply recognizes. And this should give you hope, because it means that no matter where you are in life, no matter your age or history, making this choice today can create measurable change. The thought that you have the power to influence your brain's future is incredibly motivating. Instead of feeling helpless against aging, you step into a space where you become an active participant in your long-term cognitive health. When the inflammation in your body begins to calm, something amazing happens. Your brain starts to operate with more clarity. You feel more present. You remember conversations more easily. You think faster. You feel more like yourself. Chronic inflammation has a way of dulling the mind, slowing creativity, and making everyday tasks feel heavier than they are. Berries act as a natural counterweight. Their compounds reduce inflammatory markers, support healthier blood sugar regulation, and allow the brain to function without the constant burden of internal stress. Over time, this internal shift becomes noticeable in small ways. The quick recall of a name, the renewed excitement to learn, the sharper awareness in conversations, the relief of knowing your mind is responding the way you want it to. And even if the changes feel subtle at first, they are real, and they grow stronger the longer you maintain the habit. Many people underestimate the impact of nutrition on the brain, believing cognitive decline is an unavoidable part of aging. But the brain is not a passive organ waiting to deteriorate. It responds to nourishment, to care, to protection. When you choose berries, you're giving your brain a fighting chance. You're providing it with the raw materials it needs to repair, restore, and defend itself against the forces that wear it down. And because berries are low in sugar, high in fiber, and packed with vitamins, they support not just the brain, but also the gut, the heart, and the immune system, all of which play interconnected roles in cognitive function. A healthy brain does not exist in isolation. It thrives within a healthy body. When you nourish one, you strengthen the other. Imagine starting your morning with a bowl of mixed berries. It's not just a breakfast choice, it's a declaration. You're telling yourself that your brain is worth protecting, that your future memories matter, that your health is something you are willing to invest in. This simple act becomes a daily reminder that you are not powerless. You are capable of supporting your brain through choices that are kind, consistent, and grounded in real science. And the beauty of this choice is that it doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't require drastic lifestyle changes or difficult routines. It only asks for presence. One small decision repeated daily. And as you continue to nourish your body with these natural protectors, you begin to feel a shift in how you view yourself and your future. You feel more hopeful, more confident, more connected to the idea that aging can be graceful, empowered, and mentally vibrant. Berries every day may sound simple, but behind that simplicity lies one of the most powerful commitments you can make to your future self. One that supports your memory, your independence, your clarity, your joy, and your ability to continue living with energy and purpose for years to come. When you realize that small, consistent nutritional choices have the power to build long-term brain strength, everything about the way you approach your meals begins to change. You start to understand that protecting your mind is not about one dramatic action or one miracle ingredient. It's about the quiet daily decisions that accumulate slowly but steadily into a powerful shield of cognitive resilience. When you combine something as simple and accessible as berries with a diet rich in greens, omega-3, S, nuts, and whole foods, you begin building a foundation for brain health that supports you not just today, but in every year ahead. This foundation doesn't form overnight, but every meal becomes a brick in the structure that keeps your memory sharp, your thoughts clear, and your mind energized. And when you know you have the ability to influence your brain's future with choices you make right now, you start feeling a new sense of control and optimism around aging. It begins with berries because they are small, but unbelievably potent. Every handful delivers antioxidants that help neutralize the oxidative stress constantly attacking the brain. Every serving helps calm inflammation, which is one of the silent drivers of cognitive decline. These tiny fruits work like guardians, moving through your bloodstream and bringing protection to your neurons. But their real power emerges when they're not acting alone. When berries become just one part of a broader, brain-healthy diet, something remarkable happens. The benefits multiply. It's like creating a symphony inside your body where every nutrient plays a role, every meal supports your mind, and every day adds a layer of strength. Add dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens, and arugula. And you're feeding your brain vitamins like folate and vitamin K that directly support memory and neuroprotection. These greens help keep the brain's wiring strong, so signals move efficiently and thoughts form clearly. They assist in maintaining healthy blood vessels, ensuring that oxygen and nutrients reach brain cells that depend on them every second. And because greens calm inflammation and detoxify the body, they complement berries perfectly, reinforcing that protective barrier around your brain. Then consider omega-3 fatty acids, especially from foods like salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, and flax seeds. Omega-3s are some of the most important nutrients for the brain because they make up the very structure of your neurons. When you feed your body omega-3s, you are strengthening the cell membranes that allow thoughts, memories, and emotions to travel smoothly. You're reducing inflammation in the brain and promoting the growth of new neural connections. You're improving mood, focus, and long-term memory. It's like giving your brain fresh building materials that reinforce its strength from the inside. And when berries and greens are already working in your system, omega-3s amplify everything: better blood flow, clearer thinking, calmer inflammation, stronger neuron function. Nuts add another dimension. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and cashews provide healthy fats, vitamin E, minerals, and plant compounds that support cognitive longevity. Vitamin E protects brain cells from oxidative damage, and the healthy fats increase satiety and energy without straining the body. Eating a handful of nuts daily has been linked to sharper thinking and slower cognitive decline. Not because nuts perform some magical function, but because they are consistent, stable sources of nourishment that give your brain exactly what it needs to stay strong. Combined with berries and omega-3s, nuts create a nutritional triad that helps keep your memory steady and your mind youthful. And then there are whole foods, foods that come from the earth and remain close to their natural form. Whole grains like oats, quinoa, and brown rice nourish your brain with slow-releasing energy, keeping your focus stable throughout the day. Beans and legumes supply fiber that stabilizes blood sugar and keeps inflammation low. Colorful vegetables give a variety of antioxidants that fight brain aging. Together, these foods create a diet that does more than support the brain. It supports the entire body in a way that lifts energy, mood, and overall vitality. And when the body feels balanced, the brain thrives even more. The beauty of this approach is that it's built on consistency, not intensity. You don't need perfection, you need repetition. You don't need radical diets, you need daily nourishment. The brain responds to what you do most, not what you do occasionally. When your meals repeatedly give your brain antioxidants, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and fiber, your brain becomes stronger year after year. Neurons communicate more clearly. Memory circuits stay active and healthy. Inflammation decreases. Stress hormones stabilize. And your brain begins operating with more clarity and less strain. Imagine what happens to your long-term cognitive health when your choices today become habits that follow you into the next decade. Imagine a future where your memory is still sharp, your thinking still quick, your conversation still lively because you built that strength slowly and steadily through the foods you chose every day. You didn't wait for a health scare. You didn't wait for symptoms. You chose nourishment now to protect your future self. That is the true power of consistent nutrition. And the best part is that this approach is enjoyable. Berries taste delicious. Greens give energy and freshness. Nuts add crunch and satiety. Omega-3 rich foods bring nourishment that feels grounding. Whole foods create meals that feel real, comforting, and deeply satisfying. Eating for brain health doesn't feel like a restriction. It feels like giving your body the respect, kindness, and strength it needs to support you through life. When you choose these foods consistently, your relatio, kinship with aging begins to shift. You stop seeing aging as a slow decline and start seeing it as a phase of life you can move through with clarity and confidence. You realize you have more influence over your brain than you ever thought. You understand that every meal is an investment in the life you want to keep living. A life where your memories stay vivid, your thoughts stay sharp, and your independence stays intact. That's the gift of small, consistent choices. They don't just change your diet, they change the way you experience your future. Light daily exercise has a way of transforming the body and the mind in ways that feel subtle at first but become incredibly powerful over time. And when you understand how something as simple as walking, stretching, or gentle movement can boost blood flow to the brain, improve your mood, sharpen your clarity, and strengthen your long-term mental resilience, you begin to see movement not as a chore, but as one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself each day. Many people believe that only intense workouts or long hours at the gym can make a real difference, but the truth is that the brain responds beautifully to consistent, light activity. You don't need to push your body to its limit. You simply need to move it with intention, compassion, and regularity. Every step you take sends oxygen rushing to your brain, feeding the neurons that handle memory, decision-making, and creativity. Every stretch you perform releases tension that has been quietly building in your muscles and clouding your thoughts. Every gentle movement signals your brain to wake up, energize itself, and function at its best. When you walk, something remarkable happens inside your brain. The rhythm of your steps encourages your heart to pump a little faster, sending nutrient-rich blood upward into your mind. This increased circulation nourishes the hippocampus, the region responsible for forming memories, and strengthens neural networks that help you think more clearly and react more quickly. Walking is like opening a window in a stuffy room. Suddenly everything feels fresher, brighter, and more alive. You begin to notice that your mood lifts, your stress decreases, and your thoughts become more organized. Even a short 10-minute walk can shift your entire outlook for the day because movement stimulates the release of endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine, the natural chemicals your brain uses to create happiness, motivation, and emotional balance. Stretching works in its own powerful way. When you gently stretch your muscles, especially in the neck, shoulders, hips, and back, you relieve the physical tension that often contributes to mental tension. The body and mind are deeply connected, and tight muscles restrict not only movement but also blood flow. When you stretch, you encourage better circulation and help your brain receive more oxygen. That simple act can bring clarity to your thoughts, reduce stress, and create a feeling of calm that follows you throughout your day. The more you stretch, the more you realize that your body holds on to emotion, stress, and fatigue, and releasing that tension helps you think more clearly and feel lighter both mentally and physically. Gentle movement practices, like slow yoga, tai chi, or even mindful body movements, go even deeper. They activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest, repair, and relaxation. This system is activated, your brain gets the signal that it is safe. Safe to breathe, safe to think, safe to release stress, safe to focus. Gentle movement lowers cortisol levels, reduces anxiety, and gives your mind the space it needs to stay resilient over time. It's not about intensity, it's about awareness. When you move gentle, why? You tune into your body in a mindful way, which strengthens the areas of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, self-awareness, and memory. One of the most inspiring parts of light daily exercise is that it strengthens long-term mental resilience. Every time you move your body, even lightly, you are training your brain to adapt, adjust, and stay strong. You are encouraging neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to grow new connections and repair old ones. Over time, this protects your memory and cognitive function. You may notice that you recall things more easily, stay focused longer, solve problems faster, and maintain a stable mood even when life becomes stressful. Regular movement becomes a long-term investment in brain health. It becomes a way of preserving your independence, your clarity, and your quality of life as you age. And the beauty of light exercise is that it fits effortlessly into your life. You don't have to schedule long gym sessions or force yourself into routines you dread. You can take a gentle walk after meals, stretch before bed, do a few simple movements while watching TV, or practice mindful breathing while lightly moving your arms and legs. These small moments add up in ways you can't always see immediately, but your brain feels every bit of it. The consistency is what matters. Light exercise done daily is more effective for brain health than intense exercise done occasionally, because the brain responds best to regular stimulation and steady blood flow. As you continue building this habit, you may notice that you feel more present in your life. Your mornings feel clearer. Your afternoons feel less heavy. Your nights feel calmer. You may find yourself handling challenges with more patience, remembering conversations with more accuracy, and approaching your day with more confidence. These changes are not accidental. They are the dire CT result of improved brain function. Movement strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and focus. It also strengthens the limbic system, which helps regulate emotions and create mental resilience. Even your sleep improves when you incorporate light exercise into your daily routine. And better sleep leads to better memory, better mood, and better overall cognitive function. Movement helps regulate the circadian rhythm, the internal clock that tells your body when to rest and when to wake. When your sleep improves, your brain has more time to repair itself, process information, and store new memories. Every night becomes part of your long-term cognitive maintenance, and every day of light exercise supports that process. As the days pass, you begin to feel the cumulative power of these habits. Your mind begins to feel clearer, as though fog you didn't even know was there has lifted. You feel more in control of your thoughts, your reactions, and your emotions. Your memory feels sharper, your attention feels stronger, your mental resilience becomes something you carry with you into everything you do, and it all comes from movement that feels gentle, accessible, and sustainable. You start to understand that the most powerful tools for brain health are often the simplest ones. Your body was designed to move, and your brain was designed to thrive when your body moves. Light daily exercise is not just an option, it is a form of nourishment. It is a way of communicating with your brain, telling it that you are here, you are engaged, you are alive, and you are committed to staying mentally vibrant for as long as possible. Every step, every stretch, every gentle movement becomes a promise you make to your future self. A promise of clarity, energy, and strength that supports you through every season of your life. A POS. Active, empowered mindset has an extraordinary influence on brain health. And the more you understand the connection between your thoughts, your emotions, and the physical structure of your brain, the more you begin to realize that hope, gratitude, continuous learning, and emotional well-being are not just nice ideas. They are tools that literally help your brain grow stronger at any age. The brain is constantly responding to what you think and how you feel. It rewires itself, adapts, and evolves based on your outlook. When you choose thoughts rooted in hope, when you practice gratitude, when you continue learning, and when you nurture emotional balance, you are creating an internal environment where the brain can thrive. It becomes more resilient, more flexible, and more capable of handling stress. You begin to notice that your memory feels sharper, your focus becomes clearer, and your overall sense of joy deepens, not because life becomes perfect, but because your mind becomes stronger. Hope is one of the most powerful mental forces for brain health. When you hold on to hope, even during challenging moments, your brain releases chemicals that reduce stress and open pathways for healthier thinking. Hope changes the brain's landscape. It encourages the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with motivation, clarity, and emotional strength. Hope tells your brain that there is something worth striving for, worth learning for, worth living for, and that signal alone can protect your mind from the wear and tear of chronic stress. Stress shrinks important brain regions like the hippocampus, but hope does the opposite. It nurtures growth. It encourages resilience. It helps your brain stay strong even when life tests you. Gratitude works in a similar but wonderfully unique way. When you choose to focus on the things you appreciate, whether it's the people in your L, the moments that bring you peace, the opportunities you receive, or even the small blessings that appear throughout the day, your brain begins to shift out of survival mode. Gratitude reduces stress hormones, increases serotonin, and strengthens neural pathways associated with emotional regulation and calmness. It encourages your brain to seek positivity rather than negativity, to look for solutions rather than problems, and to build emotional stability instead of emotional chaos. The more you practice gratitude, the easier it becomes. Your brain becomes trained to recognize the good, and that skill protects your mental health in ways that ripple through your entire life. Continuous learning is another powerful pillar of brain health, because the brain is designed to grow through challenge and novelty. When you learn new things, whether it's reading, writing, exploring a hobby, trying a new activity, engaging in meaningful conversations, or even simply exposing your mind to new ideas, you are encouraging neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's natural ability to grow, adapt, and strengthen its connections. When you stimulate your brain with new information or new experiences, you build new neural pathways that help sharpen memory, improve focus, and increase mental speed. The act of learning keeps the brain youthful. It keeps it alive, awake, and responsive. It prevents stagnation and supports long-term cognitive health. And what's beautiful is that learning can happen at any age. You are never too old to grow. You are never too late to strengthen your mind. The brain responds to stimulation no matter where you are in life. Emotional well-being ties all of these elements together. When you take care of your emotional health, you are protecting some of the most vulnerable parts of your brain from stress. Chronic stress is one of the most harmful forces to the brain. It damages neurons, interferes with memory, disrupts mood, and weakens cognitive performance. But when you nurture emotional balance through mindfulness, breathing, self-compassion, meaningful relationships, or simply allowing yourself moments of rest, you are directly supporting healthier brain function. Your emotional health influences the chemicals that flow through your brain, the patterns your neurons follow, and the way your mind interprets the world. When you feel emotionally grounded, your brain becomes clearer, calmer, and stronger. Together, hope, gratitude, continuous learning, and emotional well-being form a powerful mindset that shapes not only how you feel, but how your brain operates physically. A positive, empowered mindset is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing thoughts and actions that uplift your brain instead of draining it. It's about recognizing that your mindset influences your memory, your clarity, your emotional resilience, and your long-term cognitive strength. Every time you choose to reframe a negative moment into a growth opportunity, you strengthen parts of your brain responsible for problem solving. Every time you take a deep breath during stress, instead of reacting impulsively, you strengthen the neural circuits that support patience and emotional control. Every time you choose to learn instead of stagnate, you increase your brain's capacity for adaptation. Every time you practice gratitude, you reinforce mental pathways that support joy and peace. A positive mindset allows the brain to stay open, flexible, and capable. It teaches the mind to move through challenges with clarity rather than panic. And the best part is that cultivating this mindset doesn't require drastic lifestyle changes. It begins with small moments, writing down 3 things you're grateful for, learning a single new fact each day, walking outside with a hopeful heart, talking to someone you love, reading something that inspires you, or simply taking a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that you are capable of growth. These small moments accumulate into powerful mental shifts. They encourage the brain to release healthier chemicals, form stronger connections, and remain resilient in the face of aging. As the days pass, you begin to notice that your mind feels more stable. Your thoughts feel more organized. Your emotions feel more balanced. You find yourself reacting differently to stress, more calmly, more wisely, more patiently. You begin to trust your mind again. You feel the spark of curiosity returning. You find joy in learning. You feel grateful for the present and hopeful for the future. And underneath all of those changes, something even more remarkable is happening. Your brain is growing stronger. Your neurons are firing more efficiently. Your memory circuits are stabilizing. Your mental resilience is deepening. You begin to understand that the strength of your brain is not only influenced by what you eat or how you move, but by what you believe, how you think, and how you choose to show up in your own life. A positive, empowered mindset becomes your inner medicine, your quiet strength, your lifelong companion. It becomes part of your identity. It becomes the anchor that allows you to age with clarity, purpose, and confidence. And every day that you nurture that mindset, your brain continues to build itself into the strongest version it can be, one thought, one moment, and one breath at a time. Everyday habits shape the mind far more than most people realize. And when those habits are simple, repeatable, and rooted in self-care, they become powerful tools for staying mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and energetically alive, no matter your age. When older adults focus on small daily rituals like better sleep, hydration, meaningful connection, joy, and continuous engagement, the brain responds with remarkable resilience, adaptability, and strength, as if these habits act like medicine the body naturally knows how to use. It begins with sleep, something so ordinary yet so misunderstood, because sleep isn't just rest. It is the time when the brain washes away toxins, repairs neural connections, and strengthens. Memory, and even a slight improvement in sleep quality can lead to better focus, better mood, and better cognitive function. When someone prioritizes earlier bedtimes, calming nighttime routines, reduced screen use in the evening, and a sleep-friendly environment, the brain begins to feel supported rather than strained. And this shift alone brings clarity and steadiness that ripple into every part of life. Hydration is another daily habit people overlook, but the brain is made mostly of water. And when you drink consistently throughout the day, you give your mind the nourishment it needs to think clearly, stay alert, and regulate mood. Because even mild dehydration can lead to irritability, confusion, headaches, and slower processing. Older adults who keep a water bottle nearby, sip herbal teas, add hydrating foods like fruits and vegetables, and make hydration a natural part of their routine often notice increased energy, fewer dips in concentration, and a more stable emotional state. Human connection is also a daily medicine for the mind, and it doesn't require dozens of friends or constant socializing. Even small, meaningful interactions with family, neighbors, or community members can protect the brain from decline and loneliness. Conversations stimulate memory, facial recognition, emotional processing, language, and empathy, keeping multiple parts of the brain active at once. When older adults reach out with simple habits, like calling a loved one, sharing a meal, joining a group activity, or talking with someone during a morning walk, the brain lights up with a sense of purpose and belonging, which strengthens cognitive resilience in ways science continues to confirm. Joy is another critical habit, not in the form of fleeting entertainment, but in small moments that make the heart lift and the mind soften. Joyful habits, listening to a favorite song, tending to a plant, watching a sunrise, spending time with pets, cooking a favorite meal, or laughing with someone. Release chemicals that support emotional balance, reduce stress hormones, and give the brain a refreshing burst of vitality that keeps it feeling youthful. Joy keeps the spirit awake, and when the spirit is awake, the mind becomes more open, curious, and resilient. Continuous engagement is one of the strongest predictors of long-term mental sharpness because the brain thrives on challenge and novelty, and it responds to new experiences the way muscles respond to exercise. This doesn't mean pushing yourself into overwhelming tasks. Instead, it's about intentionally choosing activities that keep the mind learning, exploring, or practicing something meaningful. Reading a few pages of a book each day, solving puzzles, learning a new recipe, picking up a hobby, practicing a language, playing a musical instrument, joining a class, or even exploring new walking routes all stimulate the brain's ability to adapt, grow, and strengthen neural pathways. Older adults who stay mentally engaged often feel more confident, more independent, and more mentally flexible because they cultivate a brain that stays active rather than passive. Another daily habit that strengthens long-term brain health is being intentional with your environment. Keeping your space organized, letting in sunlight, surrounding yourself with calming colors, and reducing clutter can reduce stress and mental overload, making it easier for the brain to stay clear and centered. Movement also plays a role in these everyday habits, not necessarily as exercise, but as gentle physical engagement throughout the day. Taking small walking breaks, stretching every few hours, standing and moving around instead of sitting in one place too long, and using the body in light, joyful ways encourages steady blood flow to the brain and prevents stiffness that can drain energy. These micro habits signal to the mind that life is still active, still moving, still meaningful. Nutrition seamlessly blends with other daily habits as a subtle but powerful form of support. Adding colorful foods, whole grains, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, and fresh ingredients to meals becomes a long-term gift to brain health, especially when paired with consistent hydration and mindful eating. When someone avoids processed foods, sugary snacks, and heavy meals late at night, their brain experiences faster recovery, steadier energy, and fewer metabolic imbalances that can negatively impact cognitive function. Emotional habits matter just as much, especially the practice of noticing stress early and choosing gentle responses. Deep breathing, short moments of reflection, grounding techniques, or even stepping outside for fresh air can reset the nervous system and create mental room for clarity and peace. Managing stress daily keeps the brain from being overloaded by cortisol, a hormone that can affect memory and decision-making when left unchecked. Older adults who make emotional self-care a habit often find that their minds feel lighter, more spacious, and more capable of focus. Gratitude also fits into everyday habits that boost cognitive health, because when someone pauses a few times each day to acknowledge small blessings, kind gestures, or beautiful moments, it shifts the brain toward positivity and mental balance, strengthening emotional resilience and lowering stress. Purpose is another quiet but powerful daily habit, and having something to look forward to, a project, a routine, a commitment, or a small goal, keeps motivation alive and gives the brain direction. People who nurture purpose through volunteer work, creative activities, responsibilities, or personal goals often notice that their minds remain engaged and hopeful. Even very small acts of purpose, like watering plants or preparing a snack for someone, strengthen the emotional framework that protects cognitive health. Spending time in nature, even for a few minutes a day, strengthens sensory awareness, calms the mind, and supports memory and mood through grounding and exposure to natural light, fresh air, and peaceful. Surroundings. This habit is simple, yet deeply healing. When these everyday habits, better sleep, hydration, connection, joy, engagement, environment, emotional balance, nourishment, movement, purpose, and nature, are repeated day after day, they begin to work together like a gentle but powerful medicine that strengthens the brain, protects memory, sharpens focus, and keeps older adults energized and mentally youthful throughout their lives. And as you take these ideas with you, remember that brain health isn't built through big leaps or dramatic changes. It's shaped by the small, gentle choices you make every single day. Every sip of water, every joyful moment, every nourishing meal, every walk in the sunlight, every connection, every night of better sleep. These are the quiet habits that keep your mind strong, steady, and youthful. Your brain is still growing, still learning, still healing, still capable of incredible transformation. No matter your age, no matter your past, you have the power to build a life filled with clarity, purpose, and resilience. So take a breath, take one small step today, and trust that each positive habit you practice is creating a brighter, sharper, more vibrant future for you. Your mind deserves this care, your life deserves this energy, and your best days can still be ahead.